Hello, welcome back. I'm Brandy. This is Richard, and today we are talking about the spleen. We are going to be talking about this awareness center,
Mhm.
my authority, this moment to moment intuitive awareness that isn't really about depth, it's about survival. I like to joke a little bit and say my authority is not to tell me what to do, it's just to keep me alive. And my desire motivation moves me everywhere else. The spleen keeps me alive. And that is the purpose of this center in our human design body graph.
Mhm.
This center was developed as the very first awareness center, right?
Yeah, our most ancient awareness center since the beginning of our species.
Yeah.
It's been part of us.
It's been something that our mammalian ancestors have been like collecting information into, and it's like stay alive or don't stay alive, and that's kind of the way that
Mhm.
categorizes the information that it receives.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Yeah, I think when we're talking about the pure fundamental essence of the spleen, it is a survival mechanism. It's here to keep us healthy, well, and sustainable into the future. So when we look at the perspective as though we're in the spleen is very cautious, right? It's here to keep us alive. And
Mhm.
because it has access to this ancient record of our species,
Mhm.
there's a lot of information that it has immediate access to. One of the key things to remember about this awareness center, it's not a motor, but it is fast, right? This awareness is almost on the cusp of the now. It's
Mhm.
almost like it has a spidey sense. If we've ever thought about being in a near-death accident, and in that situation, your body just took over before your mind even knew what was happening, and it kept you alive.
Mhm.
That was our spleen speaking right there. But
Absolutely.
it also was operating moment to moment in a more subtle messaging way. It's
Mhm.
not necessarily loud, but it's there. It's something we can tune into. But very important to remember how fast it is because it is an instinct, an ancient instinct to keep us alive in that sense.
Absolutely, like a little toolbox
Mhm.
that we have that doesn't necessarily let us know why or what or any of that. There's no answers. There's no even any more information. There's just
Yeah.
a no.
Yeah. The question is this safe? Is this healthy? Will it
Yeah.
support me in the future in that
In
sense?
my purpose, yeah. And something about the spleen that I think is incredibly important is that health uh, the direction of our intuitive knowing is very individual for everyone.
Mhm.
So, this center, sometimes I see people talking about how it is the center for knowing what is healthy. And I want to inform that it is about knowing what is healthy for me,
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
knowing what is healthy for you
Right. Yeah,
necessarily in that
absolutely.
way. So
Mhm.
this is what is healthy for me and the fulfillment of my purpose.
Mhm.
And I mean, as simple as this sounds, maybe eating donuts is the fulfillment of my purpose.
Mhm.
And that is what is correct for me and healthy for the movement of my purpose.
Right.
So it's not something to be judged or held fast upon. This is what's healthy for us all.
Right.
Not necessarily. It's about what's healthy for me right now. And when I say healthy, I mean, what is the purpose? What is the most healthy use of my energy toward my purpose in the now?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And not only about healthy for us, also the word coming to my mind is self-nourishing for us.
Yes,
So it's not only
absolutely.
about our personal health, but it can also be very connected to the health of our offspring
Hmm.
and our children and keeping them alive and safe.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and knowing what well, when we say knowing, it's becoming aware of. So it's not as if we know this because we've researched this and this is something we have in our encyclopedias at home. This is an
Right.
ancient body, blood, bones
Yeah.
knowing
Hmm.
of what is healthy and what is not. And like Richard is saying, it doesn't come from here. It wells up from here into there and informs the
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, definitely part of our body consciousness. It's
Yeah.
also very logical. It's not based on theory or ideas or what we read in a book. It's
Mm-mm.
based on personal logical awareness of whether this is safe for me right now.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Um,
And not just health either, as we dive deeper into the Splenic Awareness Center in future talks together. But we'll also talk about that it's also very connected to our purpose,
mhm.
right? We have to be healthy and take certain risks sometimes to achieve our ultimate truth of expression. So it's very connected to that as well.
Absolutely.
But I think the keynotes I would keep in mind are conservative, logical, skeptical, right? It's not ready to just leap into the void, right? We'll get to that when we talk about the solar plexus,
We will.
which is very different.
Completely different.
Yeah.
This one is about fear, and
Yeah.
fear can be very, very healthy
Mhm.
to build our intellectual understanding of things, and to be afraid of something, to have the instinctual feeling of backing away, piques this curiosity, which helps play with this awareness system, which helps us in continuity, I think, to survive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's insatiable in its judgment of what's correct for us.
Yeah.
It is just relentless on this continuing theme of, is this safe for me? Is it going to support me? And because it's so conservative, it doesn't move or change easily, but it will. It's not that the spleen is some rigid concept. Once enough information has been presented that is logical, and for the spleen itself, it observes that and says, yes, I can see that this would support me in the future, it can make an upgrade. So it will adapt in that sense, but not for any reason.
Yeah. And when we say upgrade, I want to nuance that a little better. That it's able to handle more voltage, more frequency, more risk. It is able to. This is about fear and the T cells and the immune system and what's healthy. And the immune system, when exposed to more things, can handle more things. And so I think that's what the upgrade means, is that when we are exposed, when we allow that fear to exist and we continue to stay with our intuitive knowing instead of succumbing to the fear, this is where that upgrade or expansion, to be able to hold more voltage, to be able to understand that, well, I have a belief, if you'll indulge me, that the splenic system is undergoing such a huge metamorphosis with the solar plexus as well, understanding that everything is safe, but that we are like little Mandalorians in our own little vehicles that are ving, 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 moving with everything into what is correct for us. And we have moved from the 7 and even 5 centered awareness of, this information that we've collected is very valuable, but we've moved from this having to do all of the same things all of the time in order to stay safe and alive, into being able to trust this movement, that the hairs on the back of my neck, to know that means move right, instead of saying, well, they didn't go right for my entire ancestry's life, so I'm not going to do it either. So I think that with the mutation of the solar plexus into its beauty, I think the spleen is also coming along on that ride and being able to hold a bigger capacity for experience.
Yes,
as humans.
for sure. Absolutely.
Thanks for indulging.
But yes, that spleen is extremely alert.
Yeah.
It's so sensitive to every smell, touch, texture. It's almost like a spidey sense.
It is. It is. And it's am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe?
Mm-hmm.
And just the change of a tone or the look can trigger. I think what's beautiful about it is it triggers our mythology. It triggers our personal journey. We are not here to always be afraid. We are here to be intelligent. And that fear is what drives that.
Right.
So being able to sit with the fear of, oh, what does that mean? And become intelligent about it, again, expands the capacity for consciousness in the spleen, whether defined or undefined.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think that, that feels pretty good to talk about. We are going to, in a more advanced course, we are going to go into the depths of these centers. We are going to talk about the gates that inhabit these centers and the story that those gates tell, so that we can better understand the story of the spleen. We are going to spend more time talking about defined or undefined later. Again, right now, it's just really important to understand the functionality of the center and why it exists in the first place for all of us. Does that feel good?
Sure does.
Okay. Anything more to add?
No, I feel good for now.
All right. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
See you at the next one.